did it just to stress me out and have a laugh. I got to admit, looking back, it was impressive. Like, the no college debt, I think, is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I have college debt.
Even the things you learn wrong. Not everything you're taught is right. We should bring that up quick before we... Like, I've been taught things and then have someone else come back later and go, why are you fucking doing that?
Oh, yeah, I was so goddamn worried about it. Like, it prompted a fucking Google search. I'm like, no, that flag can't be backwards on my shirt. God.
For everybody listening, John's got this very patriotic 1776 with like crossed rifles and I think what's supposed to be a Liberty Bell on it. And he was worried because on the right arm the flag's going backwards. He had to look it up, make sure it was intentional, not some like foreign knockoff, and the shirt was wrong, getting called up by some military guy at Starbucks or some shit. Right?
We got way too many military friends.
Yeah, way too many military friends. Yeah.
I need one of the freaking old Marines busting my balls.
Yeah, and we know a couple of them, and he would. Shout out to Crispy. So what's going on, man? Welcome back to the trailer.
Yeah, fucking here we are again. Temperature's getting colder, man.
My favorite time of year, man.
Yeah.
Although in the Midwest where we live now, it drops so quick. Like it goes from nice to 80s to 50s right away.
I don't know if you noticed this year has been super weird. Man, we had almost no spring. It went right from winter to summer, and now it's going right from summer to freaking winter. It's like we got 2 seasons this year.
And it is, I know we talked about weather just the other day, but man, it might be a cold one, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
It might be.
I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of snow this year.
Yeah, we didn't have much last year. I bought that new snowblower, so I don't want to pray for snow. I'd rather waste the snowblower if I was honest with you. But
yeah, I think all of us are in that boat.
Yeah, see, that's what makes it tricky, man, because we just talked about weather the other day, but yeah, with the weather getting cold now, it's going to be a different job site all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Especially if it lasts a while and it's snowing every other day.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Well, for everybody who can't look at me, I'm hungover as fuck.
You are running rocket today.
My hockey team, the local hockey team, played last night, and we watched that and got tuned up and got after it. And man, I'm dying today. This is an overtime job trailer hangover special, the first of many probably. I'm even writing it down so we have a hangover special on the list here.
You know, we talked about coming into work fucking drunk. Like, let's not do that.
Good call. Now, this could be considered work, but I'm going to say at the moment, this
ain't fucking
this and going to work are vastly different things.
No, this ain't going to
work. But yeah, man, I'm glad we're able to get together today. We have pretty good sound there.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear fine?
Yeah, I'm just checking, make sure. You know, the train wreck continues. So as the apprenticeship here in this podcast, we're still learning. So I'm still checking levels.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be pretty raw here for a while, kids. Bear with us. But hey, that's the trades, right? Learn as you go.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Sink or swim.
I would love to have a journeyman podcaster I could talk to a couple times a week, but maybe one day in the future.
Maybe.
So, since we are just saying we're podcast apprentices, we're going to talk about apprentices today.
Are we actually?
Well,
good conversation. Apprentices can be assholes.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to get into, I guess. It's all relative. Obviously, you were an apprentice, and we've talked before. John's in a unique position. He was, by the way, we didn't even intro or anything.
Oh, who cares?
Welcome to the I Shower After Work podcast, everybody. I am here with John. Say hello, John.
Yo.
Yeah, that's okay there. That's all you get today.
That's it.
No. But yeah, apprentices, it's a fun thing that everyone deals with. And as I was saying, you have the unique position that you were an apprentice twice.
Oh, God. Don't fucking remind me.
Oh, man, it's important for people to hear, man.
Don't remind me. No, yeah, I had to do my apprenticeship twice. Thankfully, the second time was a little bit shorter than the first, but
bonus.
It was still, it was almost, actually, if I think about it, it was just a year shorter. The first time was 4 years. The second time was 3. It's just kind of, but yeah, so we've all been there.
Oh, I suppose, man.
Don't let your license lapse. Jesus, for the love of God.
Oh, yeah, don't let your license lapse. God, you got to go back in and write the test again. Believe me, you don't remember that stuff 6 or 8 or 10 years later. Like
6 months.
Yeah, you got to go back and study again. You were ready for the test. You won't be ready a bunch of years down the road. Don't let your license lapse. For fuck's sakes. What do you remember about being an apprentice, man? Did you get a hard time?
Oh, I got well. So it was a different world, right? So I think
It
that's the
sure
biggest difference.
was.
20 years ago, dude, like
Safe
is
space? What is there, a tornado? Get back to work.
yeah, there is no such. Hey, leave your feelings at home.
Right.
Like we ain't got time for that shit.
But that
No,
was then.
that was then. And yeah, it was God, rule of hard knocks, man. We got our asses chewed, and if you did something dumb, you got chewed even worse. But I don't know. My apprenticeship was enlightening, but it was also super shitty, and so I'm okay with being a little harder on apprentices because I didn't do anything that wasn't unbelievable, right?
No major fuck ups, you mean?
Yeah, nothing huge. Like I didn't burn a building down. I didn't blow up.
Certainly hope
I
not.
didn't blow up equipment. I didn't do anything of that. I had the lovely job of replacing a couple of fuel tanks on vans, which not really in the scope, but it is what it is.
You go to the extra mile occasionally, the work isn't the work. So
Right.
we've all been there. Definitely as an apprentice. Yeah, I mean, you get every job there is coming and going. So any apprentices listen, like, tough it out. It's worth it, But you figuratively have to pay your dues for whatever time your apprenticeship takes, regardless of what trade you're in.
Yeah, it's okay to be the gopher. Go for this, go for that.
Well, not only okay, encouraged and really necessary as an apprentice. Like, you're unloading trucks all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the only way that you actually get to know what the material is, to be honest with you.
That's a good point, man. I never thought about it like that. But yeah, that's true. I mean, you do have to know what everything is. And it gives, I learned during my apprenticeship that they liked giving us grief about stuff like this when you didn't know the name of something. Right?
Right.
Like, then you got to know what they didn't know, and that gave you an opportunity to give them shit about.
Right.
I've done it myself, I admit.
The trade names. Not even the actual material names, but the trade names.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I had a foreman when I was a fifth year and then turned out, got my journeyman's license, who was a big fan of asking you to go find something by the number. So like I'm sure with other trades, like fittings have certain numbers, and when you use common fittings and common electrical parts and stuff, you know what like the box number is or whatever to order for. He would do that all. Hey man, go get me a like 811 BR. I'm like, what? A 1/4 inch screw. I'm like, why don't you just fucking say that then? Like, stuff like that. He was a big fan of doing that. I mean, I learned the parts.
Yeah.
But at my age, it was annoying to have somebody just sort of fucking with me all the time. Like,
Well, come on, you ain't really got to know the actual part numbers.
no, certainly not. But, the guys who are used to ordering jobs get to learn the part numbers because they're ordering the same stuff all the time over, like on a bigger job, right?
Right.
I'm sure it happens to everybody. So,
Right.
yeah, that gets to be a little annoying.
What's something from your apprenticeship that you remember that just stands out, like good, bad, or otherwise? It's just something that really, really stands out and you kind of hang on to still.
Mine was probably a personal thing more than anything. I was with a different contractor at that point in my apprenticeship, and we were working at one of the airports. And I was working with a fellow that I was going to apprenticeship school with at the time. We went to school the same day, went to work every other day together. Came to me on a Friday and said, "Hey man, yeah, it's a shame we're getting laid off." I said, "What do you mean? Like, I'm not getting laid off. You getting laid off?" "Oh yeah, they just gave me my check or whatever." I'm like, "Well, I didn't get that." "Oh, well, why am I getting laid off and you're not?" He was a perfectly good apprentice, right? I said, "Because you're not likable." I said, you don't talk to the guys at the break table. You don't read a book or nothing. Like, you read a book every day." He said, "Which is your prerogative. But I mean, if we're the same electrician exactly for quality work and year of school, and I'm joking and laughing and you're sitting over there like a bump, who do you think they're keeping?"
Oh, wow.
I remember that specifically. It was a good moment in my head to remind myself, like, you do still need to get along with your coworkers. Like, you got to talk to the people you're working with, right?
There's some networking involved.
I mean, you don't have to, but, again, all things being equal, if somebody's fun to be around and somebody's not, you're not going to probably lay off the guy that's fun to be around.
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm sure those things never happen.
No,
Right?
come on now.
It's all about quality of work, right? But let's be honest.
If you can't have a good time at work, why work?
I'm not suggesting that the people who control the manpower on jobs would do anything like that. I'm sure they're all perfectly equitable individuals with ethics. But yes, that's sometimes you like somebody better than others, and I'm sure that comes into it.
Well, I think if you when you break it down, if you can get along with somebody and you can have a good day at work, it makes the work day better.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
like just all around. So if you really enjoy working with somebody and you have the capability of being in that kind of control power, yeah, you're gonna pick guys that you can actually get along with and have a good time.
Yeah, certainly. So the public service announcement here for apprentices listening, like, be fun. It'd be easy to get along with. You know what I mean? Like, do your job, listen, but if you're annoying and you don't talk, well, that's just weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
But no, I mean, I never saw any real I had a pretty uneventful apprenticeship, thank God, I guess. I do remember a shop I was with changing out switchgear overnight at a location that the power had to be turned on in the morning. Sorry, I got to take a drink here. I'm dying. Wow, what a night. Told me that I got to be the one in the morning to turn the equipment on. I was pretty excited. I was like, first year in apprentice. I'm like, wow, really? Yeah. Made me put on the whole flash suit. They all get outside the door. Big mad, the mad scientist switch on the main service, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, all right, telling me, like, don't be cautious. Like, when you throw it, you got to throw it. Like,
Yeah.
don't wait.
Full send.
Yeah, full send when you're going, okay? Man, I'm in the hot suit. I'm dying in there. It was so hot. I get a hold of the thing. I'm literally vocally pumping myself up like, okay, here we go, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Fire it over. Nothing happens. I look up at the window. They're dying laughing. They hadn't even pulled any of the wire in or anything. Did it just to stress me out and have a laugh. I got to admit, looking back, it was impressive. Like, they had to plan to do that.
Oh,
Somebody
that was-
thought about it and they're like, oh, we're definitely doing that. Like, can you come in early? Like, yeah, sure. And I had to go in. This was 5:00 in the morning. Like,
Oh my God. Oh my God.
because it had to be before the wire was hooked up, right?
Yeah,
And then I was already there and awake. Now, obviously awake. My heart going 9,000 miles an hour. Like, but yes, I appreciate that now. Looking back, how funny that was.
Oh, that is great. That is very premeditated. Those guys did a fantastic job.
Well, this is the same shop that when the boss was coming in at the time to hand out a few little Christmas checks and some cans of nuts or whatever, right? They found a empty liquor bottle outside a small little Mickey, like Canadian Club.
Okay.
Put it in my lunch pail. Told the boss that it was there. And he waited to come over when he saw me opening my lunch pail up. He knew it was going on the whole time, and then went on a rant for like a minute telling me, hey man, like, you can't be drinking on the job. Like, I know you're a new electrician and stuff, but this isn't okay. Like, kind of like scolded me a little in front of everybody. And then after about 30 seconds, broke down and started laughing. Same crew, guys, like 2 weeks later, this happened. I'm like, okay,
That's where we're at.
is my hazing over yet? Like, what are we doing here? But no, good guys. And listen, I'm sure we'll get some stories eventually from everybody giving us their good ones from the field. Cause again, mine was fairly uneventful.
Right.
So, I am concerned about how many apprentices we have right now, not to get serious right away, but
The lack thereof, or
we don't seem to be getting as many new enthusiastic apprentices as what we once did.
yeah.
I know it's a different generation and stuff, man. We don't say certain words now, treat everybody with respect as much as possible, which we always should have been doing, but
Even when they don't deserve it.
yeah, even when they don't deserve it. But we haven't always been known for that in the trades. A lot of us are sort of, tell it as it is, gruff people, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. The older I get, the worse I get, I think. But
Yeah. Are you finding your apprentices are, interested in learning and trying to be there?
I've been really fortunate here recently. The apprentices that I have been working with and working side by side with, they're all pretty good. They take a lot more coaching than what I think the older apprentices used to be. And it's a lot more motivational, but intelligence wise, yeah, doing all right. It's hard because we're in it. So we're in that flow. So I think the expectations and the bar has been lowered, but
But do we want to be lowering that bar? I guess that's the question. Right?
we don't want to, but I mean, what choice do we have?
Well, that's true. We got to work with the people we got. And you know what? We might have been, who knows? We might have been similar in a different way as apprentices and just don't remember anymore. You know how you
Yeah.
block some of that stuff out? Like, I was never like that. Like, you might have been. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I love getting apprentices that come from farming backgrounds, the farm kids.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I'll take one of them every day of the week,
Absolutely.
like without hesitation.
Yeah, worked for a living, knows mechanically how stuff works.
Has
Usually strong as hell.
Yeah, has at least 2 brain cells that can rub together and
Yeah.
create an idea. Yeah,
Yeah, I never thought about it from that perspective, but man, yeah, farming kids, like, I agree. I didn't know that I thought that, but now that you say it out loud, like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah. They, I mean, and we get a lot of backgrounds. That's part of the whole deal here, right? Like, so many different backgrounds working in the trades. I mean, I'm sure it happens in a lot of businesses, right? But I'm just saying we're the same as everybody else when it comes to that. Hey, as long as somebody wants to learn, I'm pretty good about it,
right.
right? Now, we've talked about it before, but we're getting a different group, different generation of people getting into the trades now. Not bad, not good, just different. I mean, maybe we shouldn't be sliding away from teaching our apprentices because a lot of people don't think they're there to teach them.
No, that's bullshit.
Journeyman, right? We are as journeyman. We're supposed to be there to teach you. Like, I know not every minute, every day. We're not hanging there like a teacher, right? But, put you on project and educate you and, learn. A lot of guys aren't doing that. And I'm thinking we got to go back that way with a generation of people who did maybe a little less helping mom or dad change the brakes or stuff around the house. Like, some kids just didn't have it.
Yep.
I had to help dads and uncles and stuff like, hand me that 10 millimeter wrench.
Right.
Knowing that it's lost. Like,
Yeah, knowing that it doesn't exist.
Sending me searching for a tool that ain't there so they can chat for a minute, right? But I don't think we're getting those apprentices now.
No, we're not. And we're forcing the apprentices to do more with less information.
Yes, definitely.
And it's absolutely pathetic. I talk to so many journeymen now that, no, they don't believe that it's their job to teach the apprentices. That's what school's for.
Right.
Shut up. School ain't going to teach them what they need to know. It just, because learning the code, and I only speak for electricians, learning our code, being able to pass our test is totally different than actually doing it out in the field. 100%.
One does not equate to the other.
No, not even close.
No.
You need to have that knowledge and you need to know how to look it up, but nah, it's bullshit. And journeymen we'll get into it a little early, unpopular opinion. If you're a goddamn journeyman and you're not willing to teach your apprentices, quit the trades. Get the fuck out. I'm done with you.
Or get yourself set up in a position where you don't have to work with apprentices.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And good luck with that.
And good luck with that on any job site now, really, right?
Right. Because we need them. We need apprentices in a bad way.
Well, I mean, take my case, man. Like, as a service driver, I very rarely am interacting with another apprentice.
Very rarely,
right?
yeah.
And when they're there, they're always great. And, I try to take a minute, teach them something, whatever, right? But, yeah, it's maybe that's what people like that need to do. But if they're that antisocial against one group like that, well, they might not be a good service driver either if they don't get along good with people. Like,
right.
That's a little tit and tat there, but
right.
That's a bit inside baseball for everybody else.
Yep.
I wonder how we can get more candidates coming in to help us increase the quality, because not only do we want quality apprentices, but if we get less and less of them every year, who's paying my pension? Who's keeping our trade from being so outrageously expensive?
Yeah. I think we have to stop romanticizing college. We have to. I'm sorry. Most jobs that you get out there, in at least America, you don't need a college degree. Jesus Christ.
It certainly seems like there's a lot of people that are going through colleges under the understanding that they're going to come out and get a great job right away.
Right.
An entry-level job. For most people. Some people come out and get great careers, but that's a small percentage of people. Most people come out of college and get a job, hopefully in their field.
Yep.
And are saddled with a bunch of debt. And like you say, they romanticize that. I mean, I've tried to talk to nieces and nephews as recently as a couple months ago. Like, look at the trades. Right. You have most trades, if not all, you come out with no educational debt, really.
Right. And you're making decent money.
Right. Like, you're in such a better position to do that. And I think if we don't start telling our nieces and nephews and kids we know in the neighborhood to look at it. Like,
Right.
how many parents do we have to talk to who think college is the way? And maybe it is for you,
It depends on what you want to do.
right? You don't mind working for a living? And if you're really great at it and you put a little effort in, you'll get to the point where you're organizing and running jobs and controlling things, or even running your own business.
Yep.
And then you don't have to work.
Right.
You're just there to keep the project going. Like, if that's what you want, work towards that. The no college debt, I think, is huge, man.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I have college debt, and I shouldn't even waste my time. It's just how it goes.
Right.
But at the same time, like, you and I were part of the generation where our family was beating down our necks of college.
Oh, yeah, you have to go. Got to
Have
go
to.
to college. Yeah.
Gotta
What
go to
college are you
college.
going to? Who'd you apply to?
Yeah, yeah. You want a good paying job? Go to college. No, dude. I'm sorry to say, but the facts, they're there. Just look them up.
Right.
Anybody can find them. The average cost of schooling compared to the average salary of trades.
Right.
Right? Like, there is no comparison. Good luck. Like, you want to come out, and God bless them, teachers. And I only say that because my daughter is going to be a teacher.
Oh, yeah, no, listen, thank God for teachers.
She's coming out with 80, 90, 100K worth of debt for a teaching degree that she's only going to get paid $35,000 to $40,000 an hour for coming out of the school. There's a huge problem with that. And I've tried to tell her, and that's a whole other subject. But on the fact of the debt and shit, it just ain't worth it. Go to the trades. Like, if you don't know what you want to do, like, go work.
Yeah, why not get some exercise and learn a thing or two for a few years until you decide, hey, this is good, or no, I don't want to live my life like this, and then you go and do something different.
Right.
With a few bucks in your pocket.
Right. And kids don't understand that they have time.
Right. Oh, yeah, no.
They've got loads of time.
Well, they see all their friends. They're going to this university, going there. And don't get me wrong, universities are pumping out important people too. Mm-hmm. Doctors and nurses, and like,
Yep.
Obviously there's programs that are horseshit, but what are you gonna do?
I mean, if I got a doctor, I want them to have a college degree. I want them to be educated.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know,
For sure, right? I can't take credit for this. I don't remember where I heard it. What do they call the doctor that finishes last in medical school?
a doctor.
Doctor, right? Like,
Right.
not everybody's perfect, right? But that's a tangent. I don't know why it came into my head.
But that applies to us in our trade. You know, we have a test to take. Guess what? If you pass the test, you still get it.
Yeah, it's only
doesn't-
pass fail, right?
Exactly. It doesn't matter what the score is, 99 or freaking 70. Guess what?
Yeah.
You passed.
No, nobody has ever asked me after the day I wrote it what my score was. It's
You
never-
and I had the conversation
Oh, I
of
suppose.
what we had on the test.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
I mean, you wanted to throw that in my face. That's why you brought it up. But
I believe that's probably true. Yeah, I think I was trying to big time you a little when I brought that up.
you got me by 2 goddamn points.
It's not much, I admit, man. It's really not. So, I mean, for anybody listening, like, hopefully you'll let us know what you think too. What are we going to do, or who's got to do what to get this attitude changed so that we can get an influx of people into the trades and then let them figure out if they like them or not? Like,
My 2 cents?
yeah.
My 2 cents, honestly, my opinion is we gotta get back into the schools. We have to get back into the high schools.
Do you mean representatives of the trades, or we want to get like wood shop and stuff back? What
We
do you
got
mean?
to get wood shop, ag. We got to get small engine repair back into the schools. They need those programs. There's a lot of kids just getting lost because those would have been their outlets, and they don't have them anymore.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize myself how much had gone away until recently because I don't have any kids.
Yeah.
So like these programs that were going away over the years, I was woefully unaware because like never came up. And I have kids in school to find out. What do you mean they're not doing wood shop? Like what?
Right.
But how are you going to get that back in now with fears of lawsuits and injuries to kids? And I mean, like, right? That's
Well,
a tough sell.
And it's a budgeting issue now.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. It's
They-
been gone for so long. That'd be an expensive, even one program would be expensive to bring back.
Shop class, bringing shop and all the tools and equipment that they'd have to buy and the room that they need. Nah, it's not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, simple factor is they need to start letting tradespeople actually talk to these kids, and they don't.
I've heard that they kind of try to actively keep that out on like college day or whatever when they come and talk to.
I'm pretty sure it's because colleges are giving them money to talk to the kids.
they could be benefiting from that somehow. Well, of course, they also benefit for every kid that decides to sign up at their college or university because they're getting entry fees and money and stuff for that, right? So that is sort of the benefit there, right?
Colleges are businesses. They're not educational institutions. They are businesses.
Right.
They're trying to draw people in to make a revenue. That's what they're about.
Certainly.
And it's just, nah.
Yeah. And something I should have mentioned, I know I said, like, come out of, you get out of the apprenticeship with very little debt or whatever. Some people do go to trade school.
Some people do.
And that could cost you. You could go to like a 2-year trade school and, do some of the educational part of it and get a little hands-on depending on the school that you go to before you get into the trade. Like lots of people do that. I did that. So, I mean, yeah, you can take on a little debt there, but it's, even if that were the case, it's still not the level of debt that you take on going to university. Like
Oh, yeah.
a tenth of maybe,
A tenth of, yeah.
maybe. Like,
Yep.
So, yeah, I just want to be honest on that. I'm not saying you can't incur any debt. I'm just saying it's a way easier path to probably not have that happen at all.
Right.
Yeah, you walk out making money and not giving half of it away to your college every month. Sounds like a pretty good start.
Right. But we're at such a loss for apprentices and new people coming in that they're not requiring that stuff anymore.
Oh no, certainly, and you can go, depending on your local or even if you're non-union, like you can go into a company and apply and get the job. I mean,
Yep.
hey, you don't have to go to school.
Yeah. You have to show initiative.
Right. In some cases, it makes a difference, depending on if they're picky about how many people are taking or whatnot. But that's the things you need to ask the questions of when you talk to these kids, and or any apprentices listening. Look around, ask questions like, "What do you pay? What are the benefits like?" It's really simple stuff. And if they were to really do a fair comparison, if they didn't know what the work was in advance, and you said, "Here's what you get paid in benefits for this job A," let's say that's the trades, and then here's the other one that you get by going to college. This is the job you get coming out of there. If you didn't tell the kids what, they would look at the other one and go, well, that's way better.
Mm-hmm.
But they already have it in their head. Construction workers. I don't want to move brick. I don't want to frame walls. Right? Like,
Right.
I'm not a plumber. Hey, it's amazing what you can learn to enjoy once you understand it and you see how much it benefits you.
Right. Well, and I think a lot of those kids too, like when they're looking at, if a kid were to look at a new building being built and there's a part of them that's just like, dude, that's pretty cool. What does it actually take to do that? Those are the kids that need to be going into trades. If a kid looks at the building being built and he's like, no, fuck that shit. I don't give 2 shits what's going on in there. Yeah, don't go be in the trades.
That's probably something. I mean, you certainly find trades where you're inside most of the time. I know people who've picked their trade because of that.
Right.
And hey, that's part of your decision, right? And I know for anybody listening, we're kind of preaching to the choir because most people listening are already in the trades.
Right.
What we're saying is we want new apprentices. We need all of us need new apprentices. And I mean, take the time, have these conversations with like young people, who seem to be floundering, especially who have no direction. Just what John said. Hey, try this for a couple of years. And worst case scenario, you know that it's now not for you and you made a few bucks and
you save up some money and then go take a trip to Europe or something for
right. Get exercise for free. Like it's good, man.
I'm interested to see how the apprenticeship stuff works, or hear how the apprenticeship stuff works in other countries. I want to know how that goes down.
Yeah, I would too, actually. I've got I'll reach out to a couple of buddies that I know, an electrician and a couple of welders back in Canada. I'll ask them how theirs worked up there. Because I think I recall unionization was really strong where I was from. But as it varies in the States, I'm sure it varied across Canada too. So yeah, let us know. Yeah, if there's something really wonky about what happens in your area, let us know about that, or something you think is a good way. But if if you take the time to at least talk to somebody, just tell them to look at the trades. Like, do some research. Everything's on the internet. They love doing stuff on their phones.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, take 15 minutes and look up a couple trades. See what kind of money they make. Like,
right,
so,
right. It's not hard. Google's amazing.
Google's really easy, actually. That's why I just say Google it, right? So, can you think any good or bad apprentices you had over the years, man? We'll get back on a more fun part of the subject here.
I have an apprentice right now. He's so goddamn funny. It's a good dude. Bernardo, you know who you are. He's my little Mexican.
Mark that. My little Mexican, John said, kids.
He's such a cool dude. Willing to work, always the first one to be like, hey, you need me to stay late? You got this going on, man. Like, I'll help you. Like, and I never have to ask him. He's always just like, hey, I see this going on. Like, can I help? Do you need help?
A committed apprentice is great.
Right? And usually, you know, the dude, he had to take a couple of days off. I'm not getting into why, but he texted me and he apologized for having to take it. And and it was one of those scenarios. I'm like, when I saw him again, I face to face, I looked at him. I said, don't ever apologize. And you just tell me, don't ever ask for shit like that.
Right.
Right. You just let me know and we're good. Right.
Yeah, don't make a habit of it. But yeah.
Right. And it was stuff that was out of his control, personal shit going on. And it's just like, yep, nope, don't worry about it, man. But having him, and he's almost a journeyman, but having him compared to the other shit apprentices that I've worked with, I'd take him all day long.
Oh, you certainly did. There's no doubt that you get different qualities of apprentices. Yeah,
Right.
I'm not trying to say the new generation sucks. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying it's different than even when I was going through, a dozen years ago or whatever. Like,
Right.
It's just different now.
Yeah. But he's so grateful for his job. Like, that's the thing that I really can't wrap my head around, because the level of gratitude he has for his job and his career, I've never heard from anybody else in our trade ever. Ever. Like, this man will be like, no, dude, I am so grateful that I'm an electrician. I got into the union. I'm making good money. He's like, I never once thought that I'd ever be able to do this.
That's great.
And I think that goes to show a lot of who he is.
Right.
Right. But what can be for other apprentices.
And maybe, just maybe, unpopular opinion, if we took a little more time, all of us, to try to train the apprentices and help them understand a little better, a little more patience, we'd get a lot more of them staying.
Yeah.
And showing I would think, better interest. I mean, not everybody. Some people just don't want to be yelled at or work or whatever, right? Not to suggest you teach them by yelling at them, but it comes up sometimes. But yeah, no, I think that's what we got to really start doing. That was the original point I was getting onto here, was we have to get back to teaching them.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
And it's going to be a different manner of teaching now. It's not yelling and pointing and, you know what I mean? Like,
calling them a dumbass.
yeah, you
Can't do that.
Yeah. Until you get to know them. Like,
Right.
obviously, I'm not saying a whole generation is soft or anything, right? There's just enough people around that you kind of got to look over your shoulder sometimes with what you're saying.
Right. But then on the other aspect, I don't know about you, but I've had some real freaking doozies that I lit into, and one of them I particularly remember making cry. And it just...
I'm happy I don't believe I've made any of them cry. But I also try to be, for the most part, easy to get along with, too. Like, if you show up and do your job, mistakes are going to happen, and you can't make it every day. Like, I'm pretty easy along with, I think.
My issue is making the same mistake over and over and over again after I've tried to explain it to you several times of how to actually do it so that the mistake doesn't happen, and you still do it.
Yeah,
I'm done.
that's tough, especially if somebody's burned material.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Right. And it's just like, no, dude, like you don't get it. If you don't get it, I'm done teaching you. Like, after the fourth conversation, you ain't having a fifth one with me.
Yes, that's obvious, man. If somebody just isn't getting it, well, I mean, you're not gonna waste all your time if they don't seem to be learning. They don't want to learn, whatever the reason is. Yeah, you can't go down that road. That's no fun.
And that's the one that I made cry because I lit into him.
Well, you'll snap occasionally, right?
Yeah. Everybody has their breaking point.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've said to people all over the years, like, mine's always safety. If I see you doing something that like could get you hurt, especially if I'm running the job, that's an extra big hassle there. You don't see anybody hurt, right?
Right.
Unsafe things, I've gotten heated with people about stuff I thought was unsafe over the years. But for the most part, I mean, if you're going to be lazy, the rest of your crew will see that.
Yeah.
You know? And when it comes time to put names up for the layoff block or whatever, well, the people in charge are certainly know who works harder than others. Like, so that's when it doesn't matter how nice you are to get along with. You could be the funnest person on the job site, but if you're getting nothing done, they're also not keeping you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't mean to suggest just tell a joke or two and you're fine. Like, you still got to work every day.
You still got to work.
Yeah, so I know I enjoyed working with apprentices when I was still in the field because they were at a level where they were interested to learn things, a lot of them. Like, right? Most of them were trying to have a career, which is good. I don't know, messing with them. I always like messing with people, but that's not even just apprentices. I like messing with everybody. Like, I like having a good time at a job site, have a laugh or have a smile. Like, so I remember one kid, and I wish I remember his name. I'll shout him out. I hope he's listening. He remembers this. Temporary service coming out of a grocery store we were building. The local power company had showed up, pulled all the fuses, everything safe. The kid just needed to hold the bolts on the back of the meter when I was unscrewing it so I could take it off. Told him, hey man, everything inside that, if it's shiny, it can kill you. And he had, a couple inches away from his arm to reach in and hold it. Half terrified, I think, the whole time. And I felt bad about it after the fact, kind of. But the guys from the power company just laughing the whole time, like knowing there's no power in there. And that poor kid trying to hold that boat, like looking right to his left, going, oh my God, that's death right there, like when it really wasn't. Stuff like that. I enjoyed doing that. I had a pretty good laugh about that. I hope that kid didn't hold that against me all these years later. Yeah, because I recall right when we got it off, he looked and he said something to me, and I leaned on one of the what would have been an electrified part and started talking to him. It took him a sec to catch on. Like, oh, that's not on. Like
Oh, you dick.
Yeah, I was kind of dicky about it. I guess that's true.
No, that's fantastic. You got to do that.
Yes, but yes, I'm trying to keep us on task here. The whole plan is we're going to go off on tangents all the time. Sorry, folks. But we will get back to your point of back into the schools, not, I hate to say advertising, but giving some people some honest information about what they could do if they wanted to look at the trades. Schools would be important. High schools, right?
Yeah.
Junior highs. I don't know that we're ever going to get back metal shop or auto mechanic or...
If they're gone now, they ain't coming back.
Right. I think that time might have passed. That's above what I'm willing to try to lobby for. Maybe parents do.
Right.
Maybe you're out there right now and you want to lobby. I think it's going to be a tough sled. But getting individuals from the trades into schools on career day or whatever and talking to them about it, maybe they are, and we just don't know. Like, did your daughters mention to you? Anybody came in and talked about the trades when they were going through that?
No. Nope. Nobody.
Colleges,
but
no trades.
No trades. Businesses, but no trades. And it's just like, come on, guys. Like, and I've heard horror stories that people in the trades have tried to talk to the schools about joining career day and having a booth set up and stuff, and they were told no, they can't.
I hope at some point I can get in contact with a professional that could tell me that exact story. Because if that's happening, well, that's really not good.
No, and it's not. And we've told a large group of kids that the jobs aren't important enough to worry about. And
yeah, well, and that's a societal thing in my mind.
Yep.
If somebody's like, oh, well, according to our test, you should be a carpenter. Like,
right.
Nobody thinks that's sexy. Right?
Right.
You're going to be an electrician. You're going to be a plumber. That's what this test says that you should be. Also, nobody wants to be told what they should be.
Right. Right.
But depending on your level of involvement you want to have and how much you want to learn, there's great trades, union and non-union out there. Like,
yeah, everywhere. And we all need them. Every trade is coming up short.
No, that's not just tradesmen. Here's the thing. Like, if you take the fact that, I don't know how it is the rest of the country, but every place here in the Midwest has signs, we're hiring.
Yep.
You used to see them around when a place was hiring. It's a perpetual thing at every business now. Everywhere I go, they have a permanent sign up. Text here, scan the QR code, now hiring.
Yep.
I mean, if they're that desperate for people for work, wouldn't you rather get into a trade and make a living as opposed to whatever menial job that you got
Flipping
there?
A burger.
Flipping a burger. I mean, no offense,
And
people
there's
flip
nothing
burgers,
wrong
that's
with
fine,
that.
right? But I mean, there's not a ton of career advancement there.
Right.
It's a great starting place for lots of people or someone needs a job. Like, I'm not hating at all.
Right.
But if you have the ability and desire to get out of that position, some people don't. That's their lot in life or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, try something.
Yeah, but how many places, and let's just be honest with people, how many places can you start at a wage and in 4 or 5 years be making close to $100K a year?
I would certainly hope that's a lot of contracts are close to that, right? There's certainly parts of the country that you get paid less because the weather's nicer all the time, or there's a differing between union, non-union. That affects things sometimes as well, right?
But upwards of.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah, a little bit overtime and
right.
right.
I heard an interesting stat that I think people should know is that globally, what do you think the median wage is for the top 1% globally?
The median for the top 1% of people globally?
Yep.
Oh, I bet you it's under $50,000.
$35,000.
See, there you go.
You know what it is in the U.S.? I think it's like, to be in the 1%, I think it's like $90K a year.
I know it sounds like a big figure for a lot of apprentices making first or second year wages, but I mean, yes, when you get up there, hopefully you're at a place where you get paid well for your work, even if you're non-union. Like,
and that last number, I'm not exactly 100% sure, but I think it's definitely under 100K.
oh look, we're not scientists here or anything. Like we're not doing it. Sometimes I'll do a little research, but we're not doing a lot of research here. So some of these stats just are completely wrong. But let's say
it could be fake news. Who knows?
it could be fake news. Could definitely be fake news. God, if I don't have to hear that in the media. Sorry to even say it out loud. It's been so oversaid. But you made me lose my thought train. That was good.
I don't get to do that very often.
Nah, more and more, I bet. You're kind of getting the timing of it now a little bit. But as a recap, man, if we could at least get people out there from the trades talking to kids in high schools, I think that would be a big difference. Right. I would be myself willing to go and do that even. Like anybody listening, right? I'll take a couple of days a year, pro bono, and go talk to kids at schools. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I can walk in there. I don't got no criminal record or anything. I don't got a bunch of face tattoos. Like,
right.
I roll my sleeves down. No tattoos. I mean, it's all good. But yeah, getting people out there and handing out literature like brochures. That's one of the things I guess I don't ever see, except for maybe the Super Bowl or football games last year of the IBEW advertising. I don't see any trade advertisements, billboards.
Nope.
But never on like TV.
Nope.
And radio, it's always just hiring truck drivers. Do you want to install carpet for $10 an hour when you eventually get there, right? Like,
exactly.
So hopefully you find something like that.
And God bless him. The biggest proponent we have is Mike Rowe.
It's funny that it is true, right?
Like he's done what a lot of people can't. He's brought a lot of awareness to the situation.
Yeah, he tried to point it out right from the get-go. Like all these jobs you don't even think of.
Right.
That suck most of the time are crucial jobs.
Yeah.
Take any one of the trades. And I mean, I'm reaching out as far as you can think, right? Auto mechanics, electricians, plumbers, framers, tin bangers, elevator union.
Excavators.
Yeah, look, 49ers. Like, I know I'm missing important ones. Like, don't be offensive. Like, don't be offended at anybody. Take any one of the trades out of the equation for a month.
Shit doesn't happen.
Things start falling apart quick.
Yep. People don't realize that. People forget that, they live and function in 72-degree buildings and drive in their nice cars.
Right.
And guess what? None of that would happen without construction workers.
Right. I can file paperwork with the best of them. You can teach me how to do that. No problem. Yep. But I can keep the power going.
Right.
I can probably figure out how to put the water on. Like, well, I mean, there's a lot of times that I'm sure companies wished they had a few less comforts in some of their offices because people seem really complacent. I used to work in the office world and everybody got real comfortable with their spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, sidetrack. Things would fall apart without us. So, like, I'll say it all the time. Our work keeps the world working.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
It is very simple.
And the reason we bring that up is because if you do talk to some young people, or you're an apprentice listener or whatever, like, you're already in, that's good. Stick it out. It sucks for a little while, but it's worth it. Like, that's why I said figuratively paying your dues earlier. It's not just the money, it's the experience and the education you get from people, even the things you learned wrong. Not everything you're taught is right. Yeah. We should bring that up quick before we... Like, I've been taught things and then have someone else come back later and go, why are you fucking doing that?
Right.
Like, that's not right at all. And then showed me the real, like, easy, proper way. I'm like, that motherfucker. Like, he taught me his weird way that he likes. It's a waste of, like, But you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
So,
Right. And it's simple stuff usually too. Right. But yeah, no, you can be taught right. You can be taught wrong. And there's nothing saying which is right and which is wrong.
oh,
I mean, honestly, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I don't skin cats, people.
Yes.
It's just I see the DMs come and shut the hell up.
figures of speech. Figures of speech are fun. It's common vernacular. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. But also, I'm sure in most trades, almost every one, there is 100 ways to do the job, but there's 5 or 10 that are way better than the other 90.
Yeah.
And if somebody taught you one of those ones and you're like, why was I doing it like that? Oh, it's because the guy told me that and I believed him because he was supposed to be the person teaching me.
Right.
Yeah, I have had a few of those over the years. I can't recall one right off the top of my head, but I remember looking back going, of course we don't do that,
Right.
dumbass.
Or you're just working on something, and you're doing it the way that you've always been done. And all of a sudden you have a realization, like, there's got to be an easier way.
Right.
Like, what am I doing here?
I always tried to give guys credit. If I was working with somebody and I looked over and we were working on a similar kind of project, whatever you're doing, right? And you see the way they're doing it just off to the side and you were doing it a different way and you just have the epiphany without anybody teaching you. You see somebody else, just see them do it and go, oh, yeah, of course I'm going to do it like that. I always try to go to the people and go, hey, man, I owe you a nickel for every time I do that now because I've been doing it this way and like an idiot.
Right.
I always try to tell them, like, thanks for at least letting me see that you did it that way so I know I was a dumbass.
Right. That's what I like about teaching apprentices too, because they'll be taught one way and then I'll be working right next to them and I'll see what they're doing. And I love just like, hey, there's an easier way to do that. Right. Just here, let me show you, and then a lot of times they're all like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
And I say it all the time. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So you learn something you didn't even know it existed. Let's say it makes it tough. That is part of the thing about the trades too. You're learning in an environment that's not in an office building or whatever. You're not shadowing somebody sit in front of a computer in a climate controlled, well lit, sound, like reasonably sound level area.
Right.
You're trying to learn these things on a construction site.
Right. A fast paced.
Yeah. Moving parts, loud, safety hazards a lot of the time. Like you got to kind of keep your head in a swivel sometimes, right? Yep. Like, yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. Like you got to want to be in the trades. Yep. You can't just sort of coast through. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of trades where you can sort of coast through, in my opinion, but I wouldn't disparage anybody. But in my opinion, there's a couple of trades that you didn't really want to work every day.
Right.
Valuable, but right. Okay.
Yeah. No, I hear you. We're not going to get on that subject.
But feel free to send us your opinions on those subjects, on any of these subjects.
Absolutely.
We're going to recap all this stuff because let's be honest, there's about 30 different subjects we can get into on the trades, and then we got to circle back with all your opinions.
Oh yeah.
Anything you DM us or email us. Right?
Oh, we're going to revisit shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like actually, yeah, everything is just going to be round 1, round 2, round 3. Like
Yep.
Safety. When we eventually talk about safety, I can't wait to hear what you guys can tell us for stories about safety.
Oh God, yes.
I'm looking forward to that episode. I really am.
Right.
But John, tell them where they can email us and DM us and all that, buddy.
Oh, you actually want me to do that today?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we do. We want you guys to send us stuff. Send us your stories. Send us the funny stuff. Send us the serious stuff. You can actually send us an email at isawpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit us up. If you hit us up on the website, get filed in, get set up on our email list and our email blast. That's a
do that. No one new stuff is coming up. Do that.
Yeah. You'll actually be notified right away of when stuff's posting out and whatnot. You can find us on Instagram at isawpodcast. And then, that's kind of it.
Paused at the end a little. You threw me off there. We really are just kind of getting to learn this, aren't we?
Yeah.
This is great podcasting, folks.
Yeah. Well, welcome.
Tell all your friends.
Right.
Raw as shit.
Yeah.
But definitely DM us, email us, good, bad, and ugly stories, whatever you got, photos, from the job site, stupid stuff. If you send us a good one, just make sure you put down your company or your local or whatever. We'll be sure to shout you out.
And if you want to stay anonymous,
Yes.
anonymous, Jesus, can't talk today. I don't talk good.
As we've covered.
Make sure you put that on there too, because we'll leave everything out of it and just tell your story.
Oh yeah, it's easy if you want to be anonymous. If it's a funny, good story or one we want to put up, just don't put your name on it. Like, if the story stands on its own, we'll fucking use it.
Right.
We need stuff to talk about, and we hope you interact, so that's good. But yeah, the DMs, just hit us up for whatever you got.
Now, if you're blasting us and giving us a hard time, you don't get the option. We're putting your name on that shit.
Oh, yeah, remember, you send us that information. Like, we have information, right? It's your choice what you send. Nobody's forcing you to send us anything, but we sure hope you do.
Yeah.
Well, unless you get anything else today, buddy.
I don't. All
right,
welcome back into the job trail.
Yes, and welcome back to the job trail. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And like I said earlier, your work keeps the world working, so keep after it. Sean, goodbye, my buddy.
See ya.
All right, so much, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.